Airbus H-145 helicopters, X-Ray 1 and X-Ray 3. Known as Puff the Magic Dragon, as they mounted 7.62 Gatling guns in the side of the aircraft, and they would use it against the enemy force when our soldiers were trapped or needed assistance. It also today flies commercial flights down through South America and Central America, and some of the forces down there use a modified version of this aircraft as a transport for troops with the turbine engine conversion. It was also instrumental between the islands for flights. Ladies and gentlemen, the Douglas C-47 Dakota, Skytrain, Skytrooper, and Puff the Magic Dragon. It acquired various names throughout its history. An aircraft that was designed in about 1933, and it's still flying missions today. Now they've made a conversion of this aircraft at Oshkosh, Wisconsin through Bayswater Aviation. They've installed PT-6 turbine engines on these aircraft, and as I said, it serves with many of the Central and South American Air Forces still. It's an all-metal aircraft with fabric-covered control surfaces, rudder, elevators, ailerons. It has a very, very long wingspan. It's a big airplane. And the lifting capability of this aircraft is amazing. It was also used many, many years by the airlines after World War II, and they released these airplanes for the civilian population. They had a sleeper version of this aircraft. Carried many names. The English called it the Dakota, the Americans called it the Skytrain, and it picked up many, many names in between. They said they called it Puff the Magic Dragon during the Vietnam War, with a series of 7.2 Gatling gun machine guns mounted in the side of the aircraft. The pilot would set his wingtip on a point that they wanted to shoot and continue in a circle. And here he is with the gear extended on the airplane. That's his normal landing configuration. What they call a tail dragger. Now the C-47 will be headed back to Owen Roberts International Airport for landing, and Skip Stewart is behind us, and he will be running in as soon as we get an okay from our tower control to make sure that our aerobatic box is full of all aircraft. Now Skip had to burn off a little fuel because he was heavy in anticipation of circling the jumpers and climbing to 6,000 feet. So we had to change our lineup here just a little bit. that's okay. Skip will be inbound here shortly. I hear this engine running. Ladies and gentlemen, from behind us, Skip Stewart from Memphis, Tennessee. And here's his arch. With the highly modified pit special Olympia, a 400 horsepower airplane weighing about 134 pounds. He's a very accomplished pilot. He is currently an MD-11 captain on a FedEx airplane. He's flown for a Fortune 100 company, has won many gold medals at area competitions. Now you keep your eyes on that airplane. The top speed on this aircraft is about 200, and he will attain speeds of over 300 miles an hour in some of his dives. He's coming up on the power out here on the left side. Watch for the nose to come down, because I don't know exactly just what Skip's got planned. He sometimes will have to modify it as he rolls the aircraft, demonstrating the high roll rate of Prometheus as he comes right down on a 45, still coming down. Okay, as he performs snap roll in a series, pushes the nose down on a 45-degree downline, picks up a lot of speed as he trades off altitude, brings it right down over the water out here on the right side, pulls back on that stick, over across the top, he's inverted, he's snap rolling the airplane in a series of rapid snap rolls, still coming down on the 45, he'll raise on to 3 days, 3 days speed, hanging right down about 3 feet out the water, as he pushes up on the outside of the maneuver. The negative G-force is going to throw him right out through the canopy. Now watch him. He's back on the power, kicks it all the way around, and a continual hammerhead turn recovers inverted. Once again, the negative G-force is throwing up through the canopy as it continues around on the outside of the maneuver, half here to the right side up. Right straight up the crossing pole. On the shoulder harnessing, and a triple flap on top of the loop as he brings the aircraft right straight back down at that water. Continuing right down over the water, inches above that water. Going up into the vertical, he snaps it all the way around in the vertical. Rolling the aircraft slowly around. Slow rolling the aircraft as he comes down on a 45-degree downline. Watch how close he brings that aircraft down through the water. His gear is just inches off that water as he takes it up there the vertical on the left side. And he starts rolling the aircraft all the way around above top, continuing around with a hammer and turn around as he brings it down over the water once again. They told me once you get that close to the water, the air smooths up. Well, I couldn't do it by me, because I'll never do it. Recovering inverted up there on top, he'll pull over. Down the backside, out here on the right, is Skip Stewart from Memphis, Tennessee, pulling the aircraft up again, rolling inverted now, snapping that aircraft all the way around. Use about 400 horsepower on that IO 540 Lycoming engine. That propeller looks like a big fan blade out there. It's a huge composite propeller. Goes up into the vertical up on top. And okay, he's gonna snap that aircraft around, continue recovering and inverted. Stick forward, turn that nose up with the negative G-force coming into effect. Now the negative G-force is going to try to throw him out of the airplane, slow roll the aircraft. Okay, now it's tight. He comes around, pushes his stick forward, and he brings it down close to the water once again, out here on the left side. Our drone is down, thank you very much for watching that. And the elevator is pretty much in places they used to be. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Skip Stingley. Now we're playing the next supposed to fly like that. Pulling back, continuing rolling the aircraft as it climbs up for altitude, continuing to roll all the way around. The performance of this highly modified XL2 all in the valley up there. On comes the smoke. Okay, let's see what Skip's gonna do here as he holds it in the perfect hold area in right there flight. Once again, you can see the wind bobble around from that wind effect out there. He's fighting that wind. You know, it's pretty speed, 20 knots, and that perfect first fly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. A 7-point vertical roll as he taps off the motor and over up on top. Snapping the aircraft all the way around. It's a composite growth airplane. It's now a little aircraft. And just as one of the jokers are away as Kirby Chandler climbs from about 3 feet over the water. Roll the aircraft all the way around. Now you know what? That is the tumbling effect of all aircraft. Originally called the Lens device. It was a maneuver that was outlawed in international competition for many years. It was designed and invented by a tech pilot. Right down in the water, you'll see that smoke bounce off the water as it goes vertical on the right side. Upside down, he rolls to the right side, and then he steps all the way around. Ending up the room. Right straight up out here on the left side. He's sketching all the way around. Still going vertical. He hangs down the propeller, pushes the nose over in a Humpty bump. Recovering inverted. Down comes the nose once again. He makes that trade out to rear speed. Brings it into our demo area. He gets 5 points. Ladies and gentlemen, we have an illegal flying drone in our airspace, so if you happen to be the pilot of that drone, please ground the aircraft. Down close to the water. That water is all so big in your vision. He's going to half roll to the right side, up and once, twice. Keep your eyes on the airplane because I think this is the over maneuver. And Ethan is 2 years old, and he's looking for mom and dad. Out here on the right side, Kirby takes the airplane slow down as the next turn out here. They turn off that altitude right there, turning into airspeed. One, he checks his wings. Looks back at the stick, goes over across the top, upside down. There it is once again. And he pushes that nose down. Regains control of the aircraft. Once he's got it, you're not going to going down. Towards that nose up as he
Get out of the way, man.
Beautiful photo pass with the X540. Now he's going to wag that tail. Kicks it around and still going down. Pulls that nose up as he approaches the water. He clears the aerobatic demonstration. He'll reposition the aircraft and be inbound once again from the north side. The incredible Edge 540, flown by a world-famous pilot, Mr. Kirby Chambliss. In the wave as he comes by, a beautiful photo pass with the Edge 540. He's flipping out that canopy, watching that wingtip. He doesn't want to catch a wave as he comes in over the water. A world-renowned competitor and aerobatic pilot, Mr. Kirby Chambliss. Establishes that perfect line. Now he's going to wag that tail. Kicks it around and a hammerhead turnaround up there on top. Low in the aircraft once again on a vertical down line. Kirby's made a clearing maneuver out here on the left side. He may be done with his routine and headed back to the airport at this time. We'll find out via radio. A 400 horsepower airplane weighing about 1,134 pounds. Now he's a very accomplished pilot. He is currently an MD-11 captain on a FedEx airplane. He's flown for a Fortune 100 company, has won many gold medals at area competitions. Now you keep your eyes on that airplane. The top speed on this aircraft is about 200, and he will attain speeds of 300 miles an hour in some of his dives. He's coming up on the power out here on the left side. Watch for the nose to come down, because I don't know exactly just what Skip's got planned. He sometimes will have to modify as he rolls the aircraft, demonstrating the high roll rate of Prometheus as it comes right down on a 45, still coming down. Okay, pull down, lower the aircraft. Now watch him pull it as he performs stop roll in a series, pushes the nose down on a 45-degree down line, picks up a lot of speed as he turns out that altitude, brings it right down over the water out here on the right side, pulls back on that stick, over across the top. He's diverted. He's snap rolling the airplane. A series of rapid snap rolls, still coming down on a 45. He turns off to twin gear, into airspeed, and he's right down about 3 feet off the water as he pushes up on the outside of the maneuver. The negative G-force is going to throw him right out through the canopy. Now watch him. Back on the power, kicks it all the way around, and a continual hammerhead turn recovers inverted. Once again, the negative G-force is going up through the canopy as it continues around on the outside of the maneuver. Half roll to the right side, right straight up across the top, on the shoulder harnessing, a triple step on top of the loop as he brings the aircraft right straight back down with that water. And continuing right down over the water, inches above water. Going up into the vertical, he snaps it all the way around in the vertical. Rolling the aircraft slowly around. Slow rolling the aircraft as it comes down on a 45-degree down line. Watch how close he brings that airplane down to the water. His finger is just inches off that water as he takes it up there the vertical on the left side. And he snaps over that aircraft all the way around the bus house, continuing around with a hammer and turned around as he brings it down over the water once again. They tell me once you get that close to the water, the air smooths up. Well, you come close by me, because I'll never do it. Recovering inverted up there on top, he'll pull over. Down the backside, out here on the right, is Skip Stewart from Memphis, Tennessee, pulling the aircraft up again, rolling the vertical, snapping that aircraft all the way around, using all 400 horsepower on that IO 540 Lycoming engine. That propeller looks like a big fan blade out there. It's a huge composite propeller. Goes up in the vertical, up on top. And okay, he's gonna snap that aircraft around, continuing recovering in the inverted. Now he puts that stick forward to bring that nose up with the negative G-force coming into effect. Now the negative G-force is going to try to throw him out of the airplane. The positive G-force is pressing down hard in the seat as it makes the world's smallest loop, recovering the airplane and almost to hover using that big propeller and the 400 horsepower. Pushes down once again, trades out that altimeter, continuing right down. And he's just inches off that water. Now the adrenaline rush is going to be something else as it continues down, rolls the aircraft right side up, continuing right straight down at the water. Once again, he pulls out hard on the stick. Now watch that airplane as he snaps it knife edge to knife edge, recovering in the knife edge maneuver, rolling the aircraft. Continuing to slow roll the aircraft. Okay, now he's tight. He comes around, pushes the stick forward, and he brings it down close to the water once again, out here on the left side. Bringing that airplane right in. This is that boat mast out there on the left. Keep your eyes on the airplane as he brings it in. Hold it in nice position. Now the fish was created so position. And the elevator is pretty much replacing the use of the airline. Ladies and Mr. Skip Stewart. Now airplanes are not supposed to fly like that. But the highly modified Prometheus does everything that Skip Stewart demands out of that beautiful airplane. It has a beautiful paint job. It's covered with flames on the nose of that airplane, resembling a hot rod from the 50s. And this is Skip Stewart's airborne hot rod, Prometheus, right down on the water. Boom! Snaps the aircraft all the way around, continuing rolling the aircraft as it climbs up for altitude, continuing to roll all the way around. The performance of this highly modified HS-2 is like none other that you'll see today. He's world renowned throughout South America, Central America, and the islands. doing air shows all over the place, as well as all over the United States, performing at Southern Farm in Lakeland, Florida, and Oshkosh, Wisconsin. Now he's holding that airplane in nitro's position. The sheer power of that engine almost flies like a helicopter. You can hear the roar of that engine. So now your 546 cylinder Lycoming engine still holding in that hover. He's wild on the power up there. On comes the smoke. Okay, let's see what Skip's gonna do here. As he holds it in a perfect hover, brings it around. Down comes the nose. Now he's gonna build up a lot of speed. As he brings it around here on the right side. Then they can turn out there and bring the aircraft back into our demonstration area. Top speed of this airplane in a dive is about 300 miles an hour. There he is in Knife's plate. Once again, you can see the wind bobble around from that wind effect out there. He's fighting that wind. You know, it's wind speed, 20 knot crosswind.
It is the Keon Aerosports L39. At the controls of this is L39 is our tour Keelan. He is a 44-year-old pilot from Warsaw, Poland. Started his aviation career at the age of 16 as a glider pilot. He was also parachuting, and then he started to learn to fly aircraft. And as you can tell, he loves aerobatics. He wanted to fly these types of fighter jets because this is exactly what he saw overhead when he was a child. The L39 is made by Aerobotic Cody out of Czech Republic in Prague. There were over 2,900 L39s built between 1970 and 1990. Now, our tour is going to do 2 loops, and he does rolls at the top of his loops to get back into position. There they are. And inbound he comes. He's pulling approximately 6 to 7 G's as he goes up. G's are the gravity force pulling his body down at 6 to 7 times his weight. Our tour has slow formation aerobatic maneuvering. This is the same type of aerobatics that you would see with the Red Arrows, the Snowbirds, as well as the Thunderbirds and Blue Angels. And inbound is our tour for a little solo action. side, and the way that they're doing that is Scott is lead. He's on the inside aircraft, and the outside aircraft is Jive. Scott is looking straight forward, and Jive's head stays turned to the right and only does what Scott's plane does. He is playing a little follow the leader. Another line over a salute by Scott and Jive. Now get those cameras ready, because what we have next is again the L-39. Coming in for a single ship maneuver. There he is. Now the S-211 Keon Aerosports Jet Team. Ladies and gentlemen, our 2022 Keon Aerosports Jet Team.
When we spotted, I did Luna headed up. And she can take over commentary because she's worked for these schools for many years. Okay, out here on the left side, I'm going to turn the mic over to Lulu Sawyer, L-39.
Thank you so much, Alan. And as you see right in front of us, it is the Keon Aerosports L-39.
Wow. That's high.
At the controls of this L-39 is our tour pilot. He is a 44-year-old pilot from Warsaw, Poland. George started his aviation career at the age of 16 as a glider pilot. He was also parachuting, and then he started to learn to fly aircraft. And as you can tell, he loves aerobatics. He wanted to fly these types of fighter jets because this is exactly what he saw overhead when he was a child. The L-39, it is made by Aeromotive Cody out of Czech Republic in Prague. There were over 2,900 L-39s built between 1970 and 1990. Now, our tour is going to do 2 loops, and he does rolls at the top of his loops to get back into position. Here they are. And inbound he comes. He's pulling approximately 6 to 7 G's as he goes up. G's are the gravity force feet. Artur has spent over 14,000 hours in the air. He's a captain of Boeing 737 for a European commercial airline.
You can hear the power there at DH540. Now the cruising speed of this submarine, so they made an approach from 1,300 feet out, and they were taking direct fire from the submarine, and they suppressed that with the no machine guns on this airplane, and dropped 3 200-pound depth charges, 1 on the starboard side and 2 on the port side. They thought they missed, so they attempted to launch a torpedo to sink the submarine. Well, they couldn't get the torpedo. Our drone is down. Thank you very much for accommodating us.
That's the part. They have the nets on their stuff so they can play around.
Keeping them always in sight as we circle with smoke. There is smoke making principle for us down here, also for Kirby's members as we circle that team. Now you can see they separate up there. They're up there right now about 5,000 feet.
Where's your hat?
Okay, he just deployed his shoe out here to the north side. They have 2 therapies. So they're on their way down as Kirby Columbus comes in. On purpose focus and he's got those jumpers inside. The Red Bull Air Force, I don't have the name of the jumpers, but I know one is Milo. I've worked with him in El Salvador and out in Iowa. We're a world-renowned parachute team, the Red Bull Air Force. I believe the whole team comprises of about 10 jumpers because we bring it in for a landing. The other day during our practice show, one went for a spin in the water. He liked it. He said that's too good to we have another drone up here to the right side and the wrong side. We've also get those drones down on the ground space. They're not allowed to be in our airspace. I'm sorry about that. This one's good. Okay, Kirby Chandler, down comes the road to the point down 45. They're about 10 feet out the water. Air Force parachutist with the red smoke. With the canister attached to the wheel of the roof. They're very, very maneuverable feet, and they're world famous for what they call split skydiving. That is an extremely high-speed landing, which I think It was also instrumental between the islands for flights. Ladies and gentlemen, the Douglas C-47 Dakota, Skytrain, Sky Trooper, and Puff the Magic Dragon. You're sitting on top of an upturned boat. These helicopters are certainly a welcome sight as they come into their rescue missions. And you'll see them form up and hold in a steady hover. Now, if they were a rescue mission, there would be one of the rescue personnel on board the aircraft talking to the pilot, telling them, hold the hover, hold the hover, hold the hover, as they lift up a survivor in the boat accident or whatever they need to be rescued from. Notice that the tail rotor is in a shroud, which makes it a lot safer for ground personnel as they're working around the aircraft when it's running. It also increases the maneuverability of the helicopter as well as the safety features. Left and hold the aircraft at about 150 feet.
See the one that kicked it up from let it go,
and holding it right in that hover as they rotate the aircraft all the way around. You can hear the siren on that helicopter, something that you don't want to hear in the case of speeding on the highway. They show the capability of this aircraft and it's going crosswind or downwind as they hover left and right, hovering at 150 feet. As they turn exit side to exit our display area, and that's grade 1 out here on the right side. And here we are with the Airbus 45. And he's going about and this is a sound that you don't want to hear. I call your attention to the north side at about 500 feet. Entering our show area is the Douglas C-47 Tyco Bell. It comes from Titusville, Florida. This is an actual survivor of the 1944 doomsday invasion of Normandy. It made 3 trips over the beach, dropping parachutists. It carries the colors that it carried during that time. The black and white stripes are what they call invasion markings. And all the Allied aircraft, that popularity today when ordering is close to 3 years. With a top speed of 140 knots and close to 3 hours endurance, the helicopter can easily deal with the in-mountain operation without the need for fuel. And offshore patrol ranges of over 100.
Kawawa naman si Tito Bijong. Yan, kayong dalawa ngayon ng banding ha. Oo, bait naman po ako, Tito Bijong. Bait na eh, oh, nakatitig lang siya.
Where there was strict noise control. And approaching us from behind the shoreline are the 2 helicopters. And this is a sound that you will want to hear.
Oh, that's so good!
especially efficient and safe, including full access to the pilot, emergency contact doors, that includes life vests. It has a night stand, daylight, and thermal imaging camera. Star Sun searchlight capable of lighting area the size of a football cap. It has a 700-watt public address system, live station intelligence, weather and search and rescue radar, search and rescue weapon receiver, open detect for radio, and stretcher capability. If you're sitting on top of an upturned boat, these helicopters are certainly a welcome sight as they come in for their rescue missions. And you'll see them form up and hold in a steady hover. Now, if they were a rescue mission, there would be one of the rescue personnel on the board of the aircraft talking to the pilot, telling them hold the hover, hold the hover, hold the hover as they lift up a survivor from a boat accident or whatever they need to be rescued from. Now these are very quiet helicopters. You'll notice that the tail area is in the shroud, which makes it a lot safer for ground personnel as they're working around the aircraft when it's running. It also increases the maneuverability of the helicopter as well as the safety feature. Now they'll brake right and left and hold the aircraft at about 150 feet. Holding it right in that hover as they rotate the aircraft all the way around. You hear the siren on that helicopter, something that you don't want to hear in the case of speeding on the highway. They show the capability of this aircraft in a strong crosswind or downwind. As they hover left and right, holding it at 150 feet. That's my previous exit sound to exit our display area. And X-ray 1 out here on the right side turns to the north end, and you'll run the display line at 100 knots, showing the capability and the high speed thing of these marvelous helicopters. We want to take a ride from Cayman Islands helicopter. Oh my Jason, a real pro flying the helicopter. Beautiful aircraft. They'd have to throw me out of it. It's quite a maneuverable aircraft. You can see out here on the north side a climbing turnaround maneuver. We'll bring it back from the north. This is on our right side. Ladies and gentlemen, Jason from the Cayman Islands Helicopter Company. We're happy to be part of this great celebration, the 70th anniversary of the first commercial aircraft to land at the Owen Roberts International Airport in 1952. That's 70 years ago. It was November 28th when they first landed out here on the new runway with a consolidated Ground C BBY Catalina. Give him a big wave as he goes by with that helicopter. Let him know that you appreciate what they've done out here. It's a real challenge with this wind. Unfortunately, it broke one of our earlier parachute jumps, a series of 10 jumpers, because of the high winds aloft. If you'd like to see the famous Stingray City from the air, you can take a ride in this helicopter. He'll fly you over the islands, show the beautiful Cayman Islands from the air. You get some terrific pictures of that blue-green water out here today. It's a perfect air show day if we can just get the wind to accommodate us. But there's no fooling around with Mother Nature. She says it's very hot and we're going to keep the breeze going. You know, for
Against the light, isa pa.
Sorry.